Hey guys, welcome back to AF Farms and welcome back to our No Man's Land Let's Play series. So, today we are going to take a tour of the completed town. So I finished the town build. We're going to have a bit of a lap around the outside of the town and then we'll have a flyover of the newly built areas. So as you can see here, the main street, we've added in this little median strip divider thing with some street lights. So we'll get out and have a quick look. So it's street lights, one either side of the road, hedge with the pagoda dogwoods sort of aligning along the streetscape there. So this wraps around the main street, so we'll just cruise down to the farm shop. So John Deere dealership to our right, garden centre to the left here, then we've got the fire station on the left as well, and then the farm shop. Then we've continued on the lighting arrangement all the way down to, so obviously this is the McFushi and the Mi Familia Mexican restaurant. So we've talked about that in the previous episode and we'll have a bit of a flyover shortly. We've extended down here in a previous video, so we've got the spinnery and tailor shop on our left, little decorative office area, and then we've got one of the dairies. So we've got the dairy there. And then coming around this way, we've put in the sugar mill. So we've got one of the main roads heading back towards the John Deere dealership up that way. And sugar mill here. The river sort of is behind and separates this little bit of an industrial area from a more residential area. So that goes down to the town centre. And then this is obviously the oil mill, so this is the one you would see in Elm Creek, and I believe it's in Haute Belleron as well. So that's base game, and then we've got a mod here, the industrial bakery. So this is just a bakery, but with more capacity to produce bread and cakes and stuff like that. So let's pull into the industrial bakery here and then we'll turn the pickup off, jump into the build mode and have a bit of a look at what we've come up with. So this was a carpentry, but I switched it out for the industrial bakery because I don't plan on doing wood or forestry on this map at the moment. However, if I do put forestry in at some stage, the sawmill won't be in the town area. It'll be off in a different area on the map. Alright, next door we've got the oil mill, so base game oil mill. I'll put in a little bit of a driveway to make it easy to get the trucks in and out. I do have the ability to drive around if need be, but obviously all the action generally happens out the front here. So decorative car park, nice big access. Next to that we've got the sugar mill, so this is base game as well. So once again, car park, nice big block. We haven't added the little pedestrian walkway this time, so we've separated out more of a residential sort of area versus an industrial area. Even though there's only 3 plots here, it just sort of makes sense to not continue the pedestrian footpath, and obviously we've got the river landscaped a little bit along the back here to sort of shield the view from the town, which we'll have a look at in a second. So the idea with the sugar mill is you drive in through this driveway, you've got your productions here, and then you've got your delivery point out the back. So you can basically come in one driveway, loop around, and go out the other. And then you would exit the town via this road here, or you'd come back along the main road we just drove down before, and then back to the main farm that way. So ideally you wouldn't drive through the town centre. Although you could if you wanted to or you needed to. So anyway, that's basically how this area has panned out. So just recapping over here, we've got the dairy. So this is obviously for dairy productions, milk, cheese, and I believe, I can't remember the other, butter. Yep. Milk, cheese and butter. 2 decorative offices. I've just styled them up to look the part. Don't do anything, just there for visual looks. Spinnery and tailor shop. So tailor shop here, spinnery here. We've got the supermarket. So delivery point out the back there. I think this is the Aunt Emma shop. So this is a mod. Forget who the mod author is, but if you're interested in finding out about that one, I will leave a link to the mod in the comments. Alright, let's cruise back over here. So we had the river, so we'll actually start from where the river comes in. So the river comes from our little bridge build, which you can sort of see off in the distance, and the main lake that was originally on no man's land. So we've expanded that, and we've cut this river through the landscape down to the town. So I've put in these wooden bridges, so I reckon they look quite nice. Separating out the roadways, and they're quite rustic looking. They're nice and flat and level with the ground, so I haven't overdone them. I've just put them in where they sort of worked, and I've left it at that. Now they link up with the main road going down that way, and there's 3 of them in total that basically do that same thing. So basically you can drive through the entire residential section of the map down to this little industrial area, and then the industrial areas have got access, like I mentioned before, going back that way to the main farm, and obviously looping around where we first drove in. So we've got 2 there, another one here, same deal, except this one's cut off by the town centre, which you can see with the fountain there. And then this just loops around the water. And we've got a bigger, longer span bridge here, which is part of a decorations pack. So I quite like this bridge. It's quite wide, which is handy, and obviously spans a longer span, so I was able to make a wider sort of river entrance. And then we're coming into our central sort of park area over here. So I've just dotted out some trees along here just to make it nice. Sort of big courtyard area. Now before we go through that, I want to go through block by block. So where are we now? So we're in line with the supermarket, which we've already talked about. This little residential area is new, so I've just sort of put that in. I haven't really styled it up with any cars or anything. I just got it down. I'll probably come back through later and dress it up a little bit if I feel the need, but currently we've just got a bit of road access, our footpath, and then a shared laneway through both segments. So we've got repeated buildings again, however, just to sort of round out the town, and sort of backs onto the river and then the industrial area behind it. So then we've got a block here that was empty, so I've just plonked some trees in there just to sort of break up our original first. This is the first block that we did, so I've done a video on that as well. So we've got a series of restaurants along here, and then we've got residential, decorative. So this is one of the first ones I did, and it turned out very nice. This is a sell point too. And then we've got the sweet shop. So I've repeated the sweet shop on a couple of different blocks, and then we're back to the gas station as well. So let's fly back over. Okay, so we are now getting into the town centre area. So I've just got this nice big open grassed area with a couple of trees on each corner. So I might reduce the size of these elm trees just because they block the view quite a bit. And I don't need them overhanging the road so much, so I could probably position it a little bit more inward of the corners just to not shadow the road too much, because although it looks fine, it's just a little bit hard on the frame rate when I drive through with vehicles. Town centre, so this fountain is theoretically in the centre of this entire setup. Now it's not super accurate, but that's what I've kind of gone for. So town fountain in the centre, nice big courtyard Very grand. I did have a fence around this at some stage, but I deleted it just to reduce the slot pressure and obviously the rendering pressure. Nice big open area. The roadways are pretty clearly visible. Now I've got a three-way intersection thing here, so I've just put in a concrete path to signify a pedestrian walk area, and then the bollards basically define the road from where the pedestrian access would be. Now obviously this map doesn't have pedestrians because it is no man's land and it doesn't come standard with that. The base game maps and the modded maps do because they're programmed in there, but just to sort of show the different areas, and it makes it very easy to remember where to drive. Obviously it's just me playing on this, but you guys watching it, you know, you get to sort of see it makes sense essentially. Alright, so moving into the town. So this is a Goldcrest Valley ornament. So this is Fertile Turmoil by Jeremy Q. Diggs, commissioned by Maplefield Council. So there you go. So there's probably a backstory to that, but that's a Goldcrest Valley mod, I'm fairly sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. It's been a while since I've looked at this properly. Little arbor entryway. So obviously this is the entry to the park area. We've got these parking meters. So these are decorative mods. Decorative cars, Borderstone car park. And then we've got these little dovecote buildings, just to sort of separate the town centre from the rest of the town. So we call this block 1, and then we've got block 2, which we've also done a video on. Block 3, so this is the garden centre block. This is the Silver Run Forest Market block with the local inn, and then our restaurant block. And then over on the far side, we've got the Aunt Emma shop, residential area, the McFushi, the Mi Famila restaurant. So this is actually from Elm Creek, so it's not a playable sell point on that map. However, the asset has just been repurposed and turned into a sell point as a mod. And then we've got the fire station on this block adjacent to the shop, and then the John Deere dealership, which has had a bit of a clean out just to reduce the amount of vehicles that were in there, just to lower the slot count. But yeah, that's basically the town. So when you look at it from this view, it's really quite large. Now, it did take a bit of time to build this, but in all honesty, wasn't a huge amount of time. I think initially the big issue was figuring out the layout. So I went for a grid pattern. First thing I did was I started with the town centre, and I wanted to go equal distance this way and basically equal distance this way. So these roads, just to give it the symmetry that you would sort of expect from a grid pattern layout. And then we just basically started from this corner, built out the main, because obviously I wanted to keep this main road as the focal point of the town, and then sort of run it down basically to my right if we're looking straight ahead. So as you drive out of the shop here, so you come out of the shop, hit the main road, first thing you see is the John Deere dealership, which is a bit of a focal point as well. You've got the fire station, and then you've got a fairly decent town built out down that way. And yeah, residential areas, sell points, it's all commingled in here. So really just taking a look at this now, because I've actually not had a proper flyover since I finished building it. It's really turned out quite good. I mean, at least I think so for console. Like this is built on PS5, remember? It's not a modded map. So I'm just using basically what the game has to offer in order to create a town. So I mean, I hope you like it. Let me know in the comments below. I think a few people would be pretty impressed by this, but There's only one way to find out. Let me know. And obviously, yeah, dairy down here. Sugar mill, all base game. Oil mill we've already talked about. And the industrial bakery, which is a mod. And that's all. So you can sort of see the streets lining that way. Another one there. The town centre. So you can see the centre of this road is basically... Oh, it's not quite in the centre, is it? Yeah, it's the centre of... It's in line with the water fountain, so you can see the water fountain there, off in the distance. And then we've got another road here that goes through. And then obviously back to our main road. So up this way, we've just got a grass field. So kind of nestled in behind these green walls that I've been using. So I've been calling them green wall, but it's just a bunch of trees densely packed together to basically help define the areas a bit better. So just go through, flyover nice and slow, just so you guys can see from different angles. I think I really like this section here, and then obviously we've got a nice little field tucked in behind all this. So it basically gives you a little bit of a... It's kind of, I guess the overall plan for the map is the town, to me, feels very town-like. And then the farm area, so like if we look to the left, like it's very open. So it's kind of a contrast. And then if we cruise down towards the fuel station, you know, we've got a bit of a tightly packed sort of farm this way, fairly open that way. But then when you come through this clearing, you've basically got a huge, open, expansive view. And then we've got a little bit of a sheltered view over here, but that's because this is where our bridge has been put in. So if we come over this way, this is the bridge I put in a few episodes ago. So I've already talked about this. So if you haven't seen that, go and check that out. And then that basically links up to our farm road. And then this comes, so the river sort of follows the road sort of thing. Got another little bridge here to cross that road there. And then we're back into our industrial area. So it's kind of nestled in behind a few of these trees. And then back to our big grass field. I think I'm going to call this one the fishbowl, because it's got a very big sort of dip in the middle. So that's another thing I'm going to try and come up with names for these fields. So obviously we can't call them field 1, 2, 3 like we would in a normal map, because these are all been placed and created. So this might call this one gas station. I don't know. Give me some ideas in the comments section. I don't know what to call this one, but right next to the John Deere dealership. Pretty cool. Let's just... Oh yeah, another cool little building is the EU restaurant. So that's this one here. So I did a video on that recently as well. Quite like how the styling has come up with that one. Silver Run Market. So this is out of the Platinum expansion. But I've basically just thrown that in there because I liked the two sell point areas here. The local inn, pretty happy with how that turned out. What do we got over here? Oh, this is the bakery. So this is the one out of the French map, Hot Belleron. Kind of fits with the architecture of the rest of the build. So that's why I've gone with that. Little residential area here, so more of a apartment sort of courtyardy sort of thing. Garden centre. So just for all your landscaping and gardening needs. Fire station, pretty happy with that. I've obviously thinned that out. I had 4 fire trucks in there. There's some new mods available on PS5 for fire trucks. I think there's an electric powered fire truck at the moment, so I may throw that in there. But I just sort of thinned the area out just to get some slot count available. Mexican restaurant. So we've got a bit of a drive around situation, so I can back the trailer in here and then drive it out this way. McFushi, so fast food restaurant with access for the sell point at the back, or the delivery point if you will. Another little residential area. Where are we? Oh, we're back to our Aunt Emma shop, so that's a sell point. Supermarket, spinnery, tailor shop next door to each other, and then we're back to the dairy. So yeah, pretty cool little town there. So I think what I'm going to do from here is it's just going to be tidying up a few of the styling choices. I've got to maybe figure out a way I can fill in these hedges a little bit, just so they're not so barren. I'm probably just going to leave this area as is. I might get the grass all the way up to the edge of the road. I think I also straightened out this driveway out of the shop. Just made it a little bit wider, so if I get my low loading trailer in there, it's easy to drive in and out, and I can drive it out of the town easily. So I can either come up this way and go down there, or down the main road. So let's have a look at the PDA. And have a look at the overall. So you can sort of see here where the shops are. So they're spread out a little bit. So John Deere dealership is over here. So these workshop triggers are these little baskets. Restaurant, McFushi, bakery, Aunt Emma shop, sell point, production. Dairy is a production point. Oil mill. So I could look to put in a few more sell points. So I've basically put in all the sell points that you have available to you. So if I go to productions, selling points, I've got the farmers market, so that's the Silverrun market. I think I've got the pizzeria, so that's in that first block that we did. The restaurant's in there as well. Supermarket's there. I don't have the biomass heating plant yet. Got the fast food restaurant. I've got the EU version of that, which is not that one. It's one of these anyway. I think it might be... Anyway, it's in here somewhere. Can't quite remember. But there is... here it is here. Fast food restaurant EU. So it's actually a mod. So the one that comes standard with the map is this one here. So it's got more of an American style vibe to it, which is fine. It's much of a muchness. Biomass heating plant. I think I'm going to probably put that over near the BGA and the logistics center. So actually, let's go for a drive over there. Just to sort of round out the map tour. So this is obviously the town tour. Let's go and check out the... So we'll go a different way. I haven't been down this path yet. So another bridge. So we've got the gas station coming up on our left here, which we've talked about extensively. So let's cruise around to the right here. Now we've got the farmhouse. So while we're driving past here, we'll have a quick flyover. So what I've done here is I've actually removed... So I've realigned the front entrance. I've still got the trees here. However, I'm thinking I might change that up a little bit. What I have done is I've removed that front courtyard. So that's why the lizard T-Rex is here, because it basically deleted all the trees for me. Now I haven't decided whether I'm going to extend the lake in a bit closer to the house and a bit more into this area here, or if I'm going to put an animal pen or something in this area. So I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do there yet. I'm also considering blocking off this area with another entry. to basically isolate the what I'm calling the homestead block altogether. And what I'd probably do too is block off this section here and then either fence it along here. So I don't want to put another green wall in, so I don't want to block off the area too much, but just to sort of separate the homestead from the rest of the farm, and then potentially put another dirt roadway adjacent to, so this would be a private road effectively, even though it's all the same farm, but just to sort of sell the story that this is private residence estate sort of thing. You get the idea. Now, our main farm machinery area has been culled, so I had a whole bunch of buildings here which I've removed. So a lot of these have been moved over to our other facilities over to our right there and back towards the town. The only thing that's remaining is the open garage and this silo. So I'm not going to move the silo because it's chock-a-block full of grain product at the moment. And I've moved it twice already for various reasons, so I'm not going to move it again. So I'm just going to work around that. What I'll probably do though is have animals in this area, and then I'll probably have farm equipment in this second half, just so I can maintain the fields that I've got. I mean, I can take a bit of this field if I need to, so just sort of take the front half of this field for something, but I haven't quite decided what we're going to do there yet. So let's cruise on over to our grain mill and logistics facility, and then we'll finish off the tour with the BGA and the solar farm. So I've got a few trucks hanging out at the front here. Alrighty, so let's just jump into the build mode so we can have a quick fly through. So grain mill, I've already done a video on that, but this is nice and big access for the B-double road train to get in. The Lizard's Logistics Center, I mean, this is just what I'm calling it, but it's the central warehouse mod. So this is where all the productions distribute to. And then we've got the Profiliner with the auto load mod that goes with this central warehouse pack, which can then load 30,000 litres of whatever production item we've created, and then we can take that for sale in the town. So it's just a way to make a bit of money. And then obviously the reason why we've got so much money is our solar farm and wind farm. So we'll go past the solar farm now, and then we'll have a quick look at the wind farm. So up on the top of the hill there, you'll start to see come into view the wind turbines. So you can see one just there. So they're also contributing to the income of the farm. So let's build mode, BGA. I've done a video on this one as well, but just a bit of a quick lap around so you can see where it is in relation to everything else on the farm. So nice big access, nice big silage bunkers, the largest base game BGA as well. And then out the back here we've got our, so I'll continue around for the BGA. So weighbridge, that's base game, a couple of decorative mods with the boom gates, etc. So biogas plant facility, and then we've got our solar farm here. So had a bit of a triangular block up here with this original dirt road that I carved out. So I figured it's a bit of an odd shape, so I'll put the solar farm up here. And we've got about probably, I don't know, 40, maybe 50 solar panels. So this in conjunction with the wind turbines up on there, so I've got 9 in total, which we'll have a quick look at. Generates anywhere from 150,000 a month to $500,000 per month. So basically every in-game day, we're getting a pretty significant income based on where we are in the year. So yeah, pretty cool setup there. Alright, let's cruise up on top of the hill. There we go. So we've got, how many have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, and there's one more thing to round out the tour. So this is perfect timing for us cruising up this way. So I think there's 9 in total. I've lost count. But they're all nestled up on top of the hill here to basically take advantage of, you know, a high wind area, which you might expect to be on top of a hill. Now I did have a plan to put a forest in, so you can see the forest here, which I started, which is basically where the lookout is, which is where we're headed. But I basically cut the forest off about halfway through because I was a bit concerned about how many trees I was putting in. I didn't want to... Here we go, here's the lookout. So the lookout is in the corner of the map, looking out over the top of the... So if I can see if I can get on top of here. So I've put in a bit of a pathway up to here. I've raised the land up above the trees. So we've got a picturesque lookout over the entire map. Now obviously you can't see most of it because the PS5 doesn't render that far away, but you can sort of see the fields. You can see the town and the river. You can see part of the John Deere dealership where the shop is. So it'd be really cool if you could actually see everything. Possibly if we're on PC, that would be okay. You can see the little lake and bridge situation. So, I mean, the map is quite a bit different to the original No Man's Land setup. And the town's actually, like, it's a decent size, so I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out. I'll just quickly show you the pathway area. So this sort of snakes up the hill. So we'll get down to the bottom. And we've got a dirt. So this dirt road basically encircles the entire farm. And then we've got the 90-degree left and right roads that link up the main road from the shop to the homestead area. And then we've got 2 roads that run parallel to that. So if I jump into... No, I won't jump into the... because I'll lose this view. But yeah, basically cruising up this track here. I'm not going to go up there because it'll take forever. But takes basically advantage of the natural hill that was here. And then once we got to this point, we just raised up the ground to get to this point to put the lookout in. So I think this is from Goldcrest Valley as well, this lookout. And then I've just sort of styled up with the rock texture and all that to make it look like a mountain. Alright, I think that's a good stopping point for this video. So yeah, that's a tour and update of No Man's Land as we've got it at the moment. So yeah, a bit of a build, but pretty happy with how it's turned out. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Like I said, if you've got any questions about what I've done, leave me a comment below and I'll get back to you with the mods I've used, techniques or whatever. But yeah, love to hear your feedback. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.